I've been really fortunate meeting a lot of great people. And I think part of it is choosing not to kind of commit to the digital nomad identity. I decided
Mm,
that,
yeah,
after we left Asia and Austin, we moved to Lisbon, where we met. And at that point, I really felt like I was done bouncing around. I wanted roots, and I wanted
sure.
to know where I was going to be 3 months from now. I wanted to have an apartment that I lived in for more than a few weeks at a time. I didn't want to have to be living out of a backpack. I just wanted to be stopped. And so I think, in a way, that change made it a lot easier to kind of start building up that network in a more meaningful way. A lot of the people that I had met during the digital nomad period went on to become, very good friends. And we had been friends before, but it became a lot deeper and a lot more consistent when I stopped moving
Mm,
around so much. I think
yeah,
constantly being on the move, you just can't help getting disconnected from people. And so I
for
think
sure. From
choosing
reality.
to slow down. Yeah. And like you were saying before about, being outside the system, I actually found being outside the system extremely inconvenient. It's probably not a very popular view for a lot of people, but like, it's annoying. Like,
Yeah,
you can't update your driver's license. You can't like just pop into a store and like change your phone plan. Like, there's just lots of little drags. It's
yeah.
just a much more there is so much more friction when you're outside the
It's
systems, and
it's so funny
that is
because even
tiring and you
like,
can't afford it.
well, yeah, there's so many things that are becoming convenient. Like, when I was in Lisbon, I was there for about a year and a half, and otherwise I spent most of my time in either Barcelona or Toronto. But like, to do it for people that are traveling like 1 or 2 months at a time, I find it completely disorienting because you have to find like, okay, where is this restaurant? Where do I go for this? Where's the post office? And like, there's just too much RAM being taken up from these things, and
Yes, if you're trying to build a
like,
business, you cannot afford that overhead.
no, I just want to get up and sit at my desk and do the work that I have to do and then go have some fun. I don't want to think about like the minutia because I haven't figured any of it out, never mind the language. So I hope a lot of people, I think they're already starting to learn that like the month to month, after a while, like you really start to go a little bit nuts. And it's hard to really create and be your best self creatively or even decision wise in your business when you're moving around like that. And I found, well, even how you said the system, like there's all these like lot of, I think we both met a lot of libertarian minded people, quote unquote, over the years that said like, everything should be outside the system, everything should be dismantled. And I was listening to a podcast recently where they're like, okay, well, let's think about this. If there's not like
Yeah, I don't
these
want to live in
different
that world.
institutions that are there, yeah, like you have to be your own advocate for everything. And so like you have to be able to
Yeah, be
figure
your
out,
own
okay,
police
who
force,
who
be your own ambulance. No thanks.
right. Like you have to go into an apartment and you have to realize, okay, is this built to code or not? Because there's no regulations for this anymore. I guess I'm just a carpenter now, I suppose, or a surveyor. So I've definitely felt that like being inside many systems is better than being completely outside the system because it creates so many headaches.
Yeah. And I think obviously like that's a very extreme end case of the libertarian
Definitely.
argument where, all regulation and everything goes away. I don't think that's really ever likely. But, for a lot of
No.
people, it's about minimizing their tax burden and, not having the responsibilities that you have when you are part of a society.
Sure.
Being an expat, being a digital nomad, you kind of float along on the surface of it. But when you live somewhere long term, you sort of have to get immersed in the culture,
Right.
in the society. And it becomes easier the more you do it. But I do think, yeah, there's a lot of, I think, glamour for a lot of people in sort of being a bit on the fringe, but it does come with its costs as
Right.
well.
Well, I've always said like I
And
find like the libertarian political ideology is like Catholicism is to religion. Like I find a lot of Catholics that just pick and choose what they want. Oh, I like this. I don't like, I'm going to use contraception, but I'm not going to do like it's really, it's really funny to me. So you can definitely find like an inside the system libertarian that wants a couple updates, and then some that are on the other side that just wants to live in a world of Mad Max and Bitcoin. And there's
I think that's true of any ideology, but yeah, I think libertarians are easy to pick on because the end result is so extreme. But I do think it does happen kind of across the board.